Black Ops 7 is finally here. It's so much fun to play and plays so smoothly. As always though, there are a few things we can do to improve the game to gain an advantage over our opponents, or sometimes just to simply get on a level playing field with them. And audio is definitely one of those areas that we can improve, which is why this video is all about the best audio settings in Black Ops 7, covering both in-game settings and system settings. So I've got you covered whether you play on PC, Xbox or PlayStation, and we'll head straight into the master game volume. Here you can leave this on 100. For the most part, people are going to be controlling this master volume on their headsets or their monitor or TV, or who knows, even surround sound. But then on the breakdown, we want to put the gameplay music volume on 0. The unfortunate thing is that the gameplay music volume on here is actually incredible, but it is just very distracting and stops us hearing a lot of other important sounds which can give us a strategic advantage. Then for dialogue volume, put this down to 60. This includes things like the narrator shouting out pretty important things like there's a UAV up in the air or other kill streaks. But on 100, it can just be really loud and annoying sometimes. For effects volume, definitely leave this on 100. There are many things included underneath this, one of which is probably the most important for us right now, are footsteps. And then for cinematic music volume, very similar to gameplay, it actually sounds incredible, but it's just going to stop us hearing some important game sounds. But just before we get into the rest of the settings, I want to talk to you about a common frustration of all of ours, and that's skill-based matchmaking, making every lobby feel insane and full of sweats. Even on this apparently scaled down version on Black Ops 7, and especially on Warzone. Fortunately for us, there is a solution to this, and we can get back to just having fun, which actually many streamers use, and that's to use NoLag VPN and bypass SBMM altogether. It allows us to essentially get bot lobbies with zero lag. I'm using it right here in these clips, and the good thing is, it works across Warzone and all Call of Duty titles, and on any platform you play on. So that includes PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. On console, you don't even need any extra equipment, like a laptop or tablet either. You can just configure your settings. So it's super easy to install whatever platform you play on. There are step-by-step guides to set it up, and that takes less than 5 minutes. Then you simply just choose from a wide range of locations, connect to the server, and bam, you can enjoy some bot lobbies. If you do want to try NoLag VPN out, you can use code SPRINGLEAF for 62% off, or follow the link down in the description. This promo isn't gonna last forever though, so I would use this sooner rather than later if you are thinking about it. And you should know there's a 14-day refund policy too, so there's nothing really to lose. Anyway, now let's get back to the settings. And then we have the option for enhanced headphone mode. So here we have the normal version, and then we have a paid version. Now I have heard that the paid system is actually pretty good, but it's not necessarily better than all of the different things we can do with our in-game settings and system settings usually, like messing around with equalization. So if you haven't bought it already, I wouldn't rush out and get it. And if you don't have it, I actually wouldn't even bother switching this on. And then for the audio mix, we want to go for headphone bass boost. As it says, there's a nice tight dynamic range, and it increases the volume of lower end frequencies, some of which are going to be footsteps in a lot of different environments. Now, Sucker Punch is another great option because it has the tightest dynamic range, meaning those really quiet sounds like footsteps are basically elevated right into the mix with everything else. The downside is that a lot of sounds are going to be distorted, and the game's not going to sound just sort of rich and varied, but you definitely are going to hear footsteps better. But like I say, I've gone with headphone bass boost, and that's because with the tweaks we're going to be making on our system settings, it's going to have the perfect blend. For mono audio, make sure this is switched off, because this ensures that we have stereo audio, i.e. directional sound to our left and right ear, and then we want to switch on the reduced tinnitus sound. Okay, so now let's head into system settings, and we start with the PlayStation. If you are on PS5, you want to use the setting Audio Focus, and then put the Audio Focus type on Boost Quiet Sounds. This ensures that those very quiet footstep sounds get elevated a lot more. Then depending on how you're finding it, you can change the adjustment level, and there you can go weak, medium, or strong. So if you really want to boost the quiet sounds as much as possible, you can put on strong, but I would recommend going with medium at first. For PC, there's been a long-standing setting change that has given them an audio advantage over everyone else, and that's with sound equalization. To enable this on your PC, just go to Sound Settings, More Sound Settings, Properties on whatever audio device you're using, Enhancements, and then Loudness EQ, and then put the release on Short. It really is that simple for PC. Then for Xbox, if you do have an Xbox-specific headset, you can go into the Accessories app and configure the equalization right there in the app. And for the equalization settings for the different frequencies, you can match what I'm about to input in the Xbox Dolby app. Since we all use different headsets, the Dolby Atmos app on the Xbox is the best way to go, as it allows us to change the equalization for all kinds of different headsets, not just Xbox ones. And actually, it allows us much more customization too, so even if you do have an Xbox headset, you may want to still use this app. This won't be an inbuilt app, you do have to go to the store and download it, and the only drawback is that it does cost about £12. That's a one-off payment, but honestly, after using the 7-day free trial and testing a bunch of different settings, it really seems well worth it. You can try the 7-day free trial though and see for yourself. Once we're in the app, we want to go over to settings and down to the custom profiles. Once here, we want to toggle on the sound virtualizer and, very importantly, the volume leveler, which is just another word for sound equalization. So it brings up the quieter sounds and dampens the louder sounds. Then for the different equalization mixes, you can see we've kind of got a couple of waves and peaks in here. Now these peaks are where the footsteps register in Call of Duty, both on the bassier end of the spectrum and on the higher pitched end too. So please copy these settings and tell me what you think down below in the comments. And they are all of the best audio settings for Black Ops 7 right now. I really do hope that you like them and they help you out. And if you want to check out my other settings videos covering the best controller settings and the best graphics settings, then why don't you click on one of these?